down, I'm a natural born rebel, ayy. Running high, where the dust settles. Get ready, cause I'm on another level, ayy. I'm on another level.
Hey, California, it's me again, Christina Laster, talking to you about policy, legislation. Check out these new laws effective July 1st, 2023. Criminal record seals, SB 731, was signed into law last fall by Newsom, making California the first state in the nation to allow almost all old convictions on a person's criminal record to be permanently sealed. The bill will automatically seal conviction and arrest records for most ex-offenders who are not convicted of another felony for 4 years after completing their sentences and any parole or probation. Records of arrests that don't bring convictions also would be sealed. The bill would apply to offenses like domestic violence. It excludes those convicted of serious and violent felonies and felonies requiring sex offender registration. Workers' compensation, SB 216. A contractor that doesn't carry workers' compensation insurance could lose their license as a result of this bill. Workers' compensation was already required, but starting July 1, this new penalty will be added. Remote court appearances, SB 241. SB 241 gave Californians the option to use video conferencing as an alternative to in-person court appearances. This bill expires Saturday, July 1. Gun lawsuits, SB 1327. Private citizens can sue companies that make and sell firearms if they sell assault weapons or ghost gun products, which are already illegal in the state. The bill carries a minimum bounty of $10,000 for violators. Bounty hunter licensing, AB 2043. This law mandates the licensing, education, and registration of bounty hunters. It was inspired by a Palm Springs family whose child was killed in Palm Springs in 2021 by an illegal bounty hunter. Filing restraining orders online, AB 2960. This bill gives Californians the option to request and file for restraining orders related to domestic violence or gun violence electronically instead of having to show up in court in person. The bill also required the Department of Child Support Services or the local child support agency to issue a notice to change a payee on an issued support order. ZEV conversion rebate, SB 301. High volume third party merchants will have to supply data starting July 1, including contact details and bank account numbers. Teacher overpayments, AB 1667. Under this bill, teachers cannot be asked to repay overpayments found in audit reports by CalSTRS, the state teacher's pension. In the past, repayments paid to retired teachers had to be repaid when audits revealed that they had been calculated incorrectly. Housing laws, AB 2011, SB 6. Construction of affordable multifamily housing on land that is zoned for commercial, retail, or parking use is streamlined under AB 2011 and SB 6. It also strengthens wage laws and health benefits rules for construction contractors. Marketplaces online. Marketplaces, SB 301, aims to crack down on the online sale of stolen goods. Starting July 1, high-volume third-party sellers will be required to provide data including contact information and bank account numbers. Firearms civil suits, AB 1594. This bill establishes a firearm industry standard of conduct, which would require a firearm industry member to establish, implement, and enforce reasonable controls. Members of the firearm industry must take reasonable precautions to ensure they don't sell, distribute, or provide a firearm-related product to a downstream distributor. Those in the industry may not manufacture, market, import, provide wholesale sales of abnormally dangerous products. Juneteenth, AB 1655. Juneteenth will now be added to the list of state holidays. This will mean community colleges and public schools will close schools in addition to state employees being given time off with pay on June 19th. If you want to find out more about bills, votes, history, analysis, and laws, check out the California Legislative Information Bill information page. You need to know.
One of the most well-known civil rights organizations of the late 1960s was the Black Panther Party. Who started the Black Panther Party? What did the group advocate? In many northern and western cities in the United States, African Americans were living in urban ghettos with high unemployment rates and substandard housing. Many also believed that they were treated unfairly and in some cases even brutalized by police forces which did not represent them. For example, Oakland, California had 661 police officers, yet only 16 of those were African American. Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale had been involved in many different civil rights organizations in their young lives, including those who promoted the Black Power ideology. However, they were frustrated with the failure of these organizations to combat police brutality and other injustices they saw in their communities. In October of 1966, the two men formed the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, later simply known as the Black Panther Party. They organized armed patrols that would follow police officers, monitoring them for incidents of abuse. If the police attempted to confront them, Black Panther members would recite the state and federal laws which permitted them to carry their loaded weapons. The Black Panther Party first gained national attention after an incident in 1967. The group carried loaded firearms into the California State Assembly in protest of a piece of legislation which would make carrying loaded firearms illegal. 6 of the members were arrested for this incident. In May of 1967, the Black Panther Party issued a list of 10 points which stated their beliefs and values. This list included things such as full employment, decent housing, and an end to police brutality. They also sought education for African Americans and justice within the court system. The group's ideals resonated within the Black community, and their numbers expanded rapidly. By 1968, the Black Panther Party had a presence in more than 20 major American cities, including New York City, Chicago, Boston, Dallas, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C. Some estimates claim that their membership numbers were as high as 10,000 at its peak in 1969. The party also boasted an influential newspaper which was read by more than 250,000 people. Its editor was Eldridge Cleaver, and he became a persuasive voice within the Black Power movement. Cleaver would eventually become the third most prominent member of the Black Panther Party, behind Newton and Seale. The Black Panther Party also started community-friendly programs, such as the Free Breakfast for Children program. They believed that they could provide for the needs of those in poverty better than the government could. It has been estimated that the Black Panther Party fed more than 20,000 children through this program during the 1968-1969 school year. The organization offered other services as well, including clothes distribution, classes on politics and economics, free medical care, and lessons on self-defense and first aid. They also set up an ambulance program and drug rehabilitation services. However, the Federal Bureau of Investigation did not agree with many of the organization's paramilitary activities, such as carrying loaded guns. The FBI regarded them as a black nationalist hate group, and FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover even referred to them as the greatest threat to the internal security of the country. The group was targeted for investigation with the intent of weakening the group's power and damaging their credibility. The Black Panther Party continued to exist as an organization throughout the 1970s, but never regained the prestige they had once enjoyed. Over the course of that decade, their numbers dwindled away until, by 1980, only 27 people were still official members of the Black Panther Party.
Please, who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other.
Supreme Court guts the lifeline for prisoners who claim wrongful convictions. Not only does this decision bar federal courts from hearing new evidence presented in the state court as a result of ineffective legal counsel, they use the old school deviation of states' rights. You know who Justice Clarence Thomas is? The one who White tried to organize and overthrow the government for January 6th? Yeah, he on Supreme Court. Him said that the federal court should not be allowed to override the state's core power to enforce criminal law. And just to make sure it's clear, what this means is that in the future, when it comes to people that's convicted, they will have no recourse to have federal courts try to reverse a wrongful conviction. And research over me search, who you think most likely to be impacted by this precedent? Innocent African Americans are more likely to be wrongfully convicted than whites and spend longer in prison for it. If you asking the question, what country has the most wrongful convictions? The United States.